Hi and welcome. My name is Johnny Fergan. I'm from All Total Coaching. What I want to talk to you today is why entitlement will cause massive depression, and in some cases will cause suicide. But before we start, I'd like to talk about a book that's getting delayed, but make no mistake about it, we will have a book launch. And the only reason is because we're fixing some structure, some grammar. But make no mistake, the book launch will quickly come in. How to be a man, what your father never taught you. We talk about the following topics. This is a guide for most men under the age of 35, or that lived with a father figure, or without a mentor as a male. It's a guide for men in this feminized world. We talk about manhood. What is a man? How to be a man. Women, relationships, and sex. Media, manipulation, indoctrination via the movies. Health, food, and exercise, why it's so important. Money, wealth, what you need to know, what you're not taught in school. Value, what is value, why it's so important. How to overcome depression and fear, the biggest phenomena of our society, especially in Australia, where 8 people commit suicide a day, and 6 of them are men, and 3 of those people that committed suicide in the last couple of years are personal friends of mine that I personally know, and one of them that I cannot mention his name committed suicide here at the Gap on the 22nd of September 2018. I mention him in my book, although I do not mention him by name. And those that doubt me again and again and may say that I exaggerate, here is the graph from the Australian Bureau of Statistics about suicide in Australia that's increasing every year. And they want it to increase because the pharmaceutical companies are making money from all these medications. Now, you may think to yourself, I'm exaggerating, but those that already had a glimpse into my book knows precisely what I talk about. I give facts, not fantasy. I give facts, not illusions. I give facts, but not things that are in the skies. Because a man that cannot back up his claims is a moron. So let's continue. Happiness or fulfillment, feminism, the real truth, family court and consequences, domestic violence, how to be social and have a great network, keep up, how to maintain relationships, some of the rules that will save your life, sources and resources. So that's our book. Now, why entitlement will cause depression? The more entitled the person is, the bigger demands he or her sees their life. And the bigger the gap from where they see their life to where reality is, the more going to depress. So I'm going to make an example now on dating. Yeah? A woman, hypothetically, I'm just saying generally, okay, has got a request that the man should be like. And she's got about 40 requests. Tall, handsome, alpha male, money, 6'2", whatever. She's got a list of 40. And she keeps meeting these men that don't even come to 10 of the demands. She's going to be devastated. And the more demands she's going to have, the bigger the gap from what she wants to reality, the more depressed she's going to be. Instead of coming to those dates or whatever, and coming with an open mind. Because the bigger demand she's going to have, the more entitled she is, the more entitled more she thinks, the more she's going to be devastated. Now this is nothing against women, she's general overview, just an example. Mind you, some dumb men do the same thing. So I'm not trying to say this against women, but I'm just giving an example. And the more and more lists she has, the more she's going to be devastated and devastated again and again. But being devastated again and again and again and again, she loses belief. She loses faith. She loses her femininity. She becomes rougher. She becomes more aggressive because she's been devastated again and again and again. And the more devastated you are, the more apathetic you become. And the more apathetic you become, the more angry you become. And the more angry you become, the more frustrated you become. And the more frustrated you are, the more depressed you're going to become. The more depressed you're going to become, the more likely you're going to be suicidal. And then you're going to go to the doctor and ask that you're sad or depressed, and you're going to be on medication. And not only that these drugs will not help you, they will numb and suppress those feelings. And to put you on the hamster wheel so you can come back and get more and more and more pills. There's no money in healthy people. The more depressed you are, more likely you'll be a repeat customer. But if you're healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically, More than likely you don't need these pills because you live in reality, not in a fantasy, not an illusion, not in the fantasy of Hollywood. More than likely you'll exercise, be in reality, be a forgiving person, be a loving person, and not have that entitlement. The likelihood you're not going to be on that depression. More than likely you're not going to be entitled. More than likely you're not going to be on anti-Prozac. More than likely you're not going to be on these medications. There's so many people today take. There's no money in healthy people. I'm healthy, I run, I exercise, I dance. There's no money in me. But if you're sick, if you're depressed, if you're entitled, the more entitled you are, the more depressed you're going to likely be, the more you're going to take, more than likely take medication. You know it and I know it. And more than likely they put you on hamster wheel, because once you're on those pills, you finish those medications 2 or 3 weeks later, another one, another one, another one. And by the way, on this note, and I speak about this in my book, Google side effects for whatever you're taking. I urge you, if anything from this video you take, just Google side effects. Some of them cause impotency. Some of them causes miscarriage. Some of them cause even more suicidal effects. Now you may think this is a claim, I'm just making it up. Please Google side effects to whatever you're taking. You'd be shocked. Why do you think the print on all these bottles and all these medications are in small print? Because majority of people don't read them. Years ago, in a book that I have in my possession from the American Medical Association, it said, if you go to the doctor and you're depressed, he may prescribe to you a particular exercise routine as that alleviates pain, suffering, and creates endorphins. Today, doctors and all these medical practitioners are not interested in your well-being. They're just interested in one thing: money, el dinero. And you're out of the door because they want to put you on a hamster wheel, because you go, you buy this medication, they get a commission, and more than likely you'll be back in 2 weeks, another one, another one, another one. And that's how we are living in a medicated society. And this is why the more entitled you are, the more depressed you're going to be. And the bigger the gap from what you want to reality, the more likely you'll eventually get depressed, more than likely on medication, and we all know where that is going to lead you. And the biggest harmony you will ever have was when you have a stable relationship. Whether you're a man with a woman, or with a woman with a man, or whatever. But if you don't have stability, emotional stability, your life will be in chaos. And the more chaos you'll be, the more you'll be on medication, and more than likely you'll go from one thought of suicide to the next, to the next, and next. And I hate to say this, but we all know some people like this, and I know plenty of people like this. But it's never their fault, it's always somebody else's fault, because they can't look in the mirror and take full responsibility. And another thing about entitled people, they never take responsibility because it's always somebody else's fault. They never look in the mirror and say, where did I contribute to this? So these are the reasons, more or less, why entitled people are going to eventually sink into depression, and their life will go from one drama to the next, and their life will be chaos. I really, really hope I highlighted you. I don't expect to help everybody, but if I helped one of you, this video wasn't in vain. I really, really hope you enjoyed yourself, or I make you aware of some issues, why entitlement will cause depression in the long run, and you took some things to note. Look us up at www.alltotalcoaching.com. I can change your life. The question is, do you want to? Or are you going to keep doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result, or expecting Superman or Superwoman to come and pull you out and fall in love with you, and you live happily ever after in the bullshit of Hollywood that we all know that never happens. Thank you very much for listening. As always, you know who I am? I'm your friend, Charlie.